Yes, United has a lot of issues and it's been brewing for a long time. Every now and then they manage to model it up and keep moving. Ole had his own issues, but it got to a point they couldn't bear it anymore. They let him go. Where Ten Hag came in last season, did what he did. It looked like light has come. Again, we are this same bus stop that United always find themselves at. And most of the time, it leads to sacking the coach and starting all over again. There'll be a new coach bounce, and we go the same cycle.
Takiming me.
Timo,
What's up, Shaba, man? Longest time.
I remain loyal. I
know. I know. I see you're happy, man.
Happy. If you've been watching the episodes, then no, I'm not happy.
I mean, 3 points. No matter how it comes, it's
Okay.
better than
It's cool, man.
Somebody won the World Cup with the hand of God.
There you go.
And
there you go.
And he's happy.
Spain
is regarded as the greatest.
Yeah, Spain won the World Cup with one goal difference for almost every match. So you're right, but Man U is not Spain. So
Transit TV, welcome to Reggie Football Show. Today I'm with my man Chioma, the tag teaming expert, and Shaba, my man from United.
yes,
Because we know how it went last weekend. I'm surprised Chioma is smiling, but I know deep down inside his heart, he's
he needs a hug.
Yeah, we're here to look at the games over the weekend and review them and talk about the incidents and how things are going with these two teams. United, we know, somehow scrapped a 1-0 win over the weekend while Chelsea lost at home. With me tonight is Chioma, representing Chelsea as usual. He says he's a blue-blooded man. And Shaba, of course, for United. Guys, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. It's quite an honor to be here again. I heard you saying that I'm smiling. Behind that smile is a very, very, very angry, not eating, rejects whatever food that I'm being served to. But I had to pretend to be happy. So welcome, viewers.
Yes. Let's start with, of course, United. We played a game on Saturday, and somehow United won the game away from home. Strangely, because United have been very awful away from home. Describe this one 1-0. Shaba, what's your overall thought about that game, how it went? And I know you've been very, very outspoken against Ten Hag and the way he's been doing things at Old Trafford. I don't know, did anything change in your mind as regards to United going forward?
Well, like you said, I've been very outspoken, and this game did not change my mind. Burnley has one point before the game against United. They had 1 point in 5 games. And if we're being honest with ourselves, Burnley was a better team on Saturday, right? I understand that they're probably the youngest team in EPL, but Burnley is a newcomer. Burnley is a team that everybody is meant to come and collect points from, whether it be at home or whether it be away. Burnley is meant to be a giveaway. And United struggled. Now, Fernandez scored a worldie. I mean, that's probably going to win goal of the month because that was just out of nowhere. And to think it was Evans, a player that hasn't played for United in over a decade, if I'm not mistaken, that gave him the assist. And the only reason why Evans even got on the field was because of the injuries. But nonetheless, United did not do anything to convince me that they're making any progress. We ended the game with a 38% possession, or thereabouts, and it's not good enough for a team that has some of the highest paid players, has one of the most talked about coaches, a team like United should not be scrapping against a team like Burnley.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. You know, almost everything you said is true, and it's really strange how United is struggling this time. I mean, last season when Ten Hag took over reins at Old Trafford, it looked like a new leaf has come. Things look differently, and I remember, you know how we banter in our group, how United fans were making noise and saying United will be competing for the league this season and stuff like that. And the season starts, United is struggling this way. I really understand what how you feel. And like you mentioned, to say that a player like Evans provided the assist for your goal and actually was one of the lights, actually got a goal that was disallowed.
Yes.
Some say it was offside. Some say it was, I think, Højlund was obstructing the goalkeeper.
The goalie.
I don't really know the reason why that goal was cancelled. You know, if you look at it very well, and I don't know if you watched the interviews after the game, Bruno actually gave his man of the match award to Evans.
Yes.
You know, for a 36-year-old man to be that key to a win that United got after how many losses? 5 losses? You know,
it was three losses.
Three,
actually.
okay, in a row. So that
tells
you where the team is at the moment. So, but let me stay with you. Let me ask you a question. You know, there's this school of thought that United has been at this spot, one time too many. It gets to a point, a coach takes over, it looks like a new leaf has come. All of a sudden, everything comes crashing, and it looks like the players have down tools on the coach. The next thing you need to start to hear is that he has lost the dressing room. Did you see anything different yesterday from the way United players, I'm not talking about tactics now, just their body language, the way they approach the game? Do you feel that the players are playing for the coach?
So he did make some changes, which I think actually impacted the dynamics of the body language in the team. Mm-hmm. And when I say changes, last time I was here, I talked about wanting to see Hannibal start, and Hannibal was just a breath of fresh air. The guy was chasing after every ball. He wanted to impress. Mm-hmm. So that was a good thing. I also saw Scott McTominay. He had a very poor first half, but he started to grow into the game in the second half.
Yeah.
So just me watching those two guys and seeing that there was a bunch of new guys in the lineup and seeing how that affected it, it looked like the mood was actually better. Yeah. But the mood being better did not change much of anything because United still struggled. Right, Burnley still outpossessed us. They actually hit the bar, the first go ahead, and had that ball gone in, I believe Onana came out and made himself big to take the striker off his game plan. But had that ball gone in, I honestly don't think that United would have been able to come back based on the way the game ended. Mm-hmm. So I honestly do not know that the attitude, be it better or worse, had anything to do with anything. It just boils down to the tactics. The attitude looked better, tactics still sucked.
So, Chioma, I'll come to you, but Chioma again.
Chioma, I see you laughing over
Chioma to the show. Chioma, thank you so much. I will say that this again to our viewers. We really appreciate you. This is 2:30 a.m. in Nigeria, and you always, sacrifice your time. You can see your coffee to come on the show. Especially, I know you wouldn't miss this one because Chioma is on the show today. You guys know how to get at each other's back. We're looking forward to an interesting banter tonight. I see Chioma nodding his head. He's getting ready. I'm sure Chioma lost his breath once he saw Chioma appear on the screen. Yeah. So, Chioma, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Chioma, staying with you, I know Sancho, this issue with Sancho, for me, I believe is a big one. Him being a local boy, apparently we have a lot of friends in the dressing room. Do you think in any way is having impact in what's going on the field right now?
I honestly do not think so, because Sancho was there before Ten Hag, and hopefully Sancho will be there after Ten Hag. A lot of players, especially a lot of black players, I'm going to put it out there, have been coming out in the last few seasons and talking about mental health and mental awareness. And it's obvious because this is a guy that was very well sought after, when he was with Burnley. Yeah, when he was at Dortmund. There's all this talk that he's always been a lazy player, but when you have that natural God-given talent, quite often you're lazy. Go and read up on Messi. I'm not comparing Sancho by any means, shape, or form to Messi, but go and read up on Messi. Almost every coach that has coached Messi will tell you how lazy he is in training. But come on game day and he's producing magic. Sancho does have the talent in his feet. We just need a manager to be able to get the best out of him. When Ten Hag, quote unquote, sent him to the mountain last season, he seemed to come back rejuvenated, but that only lasted, 2-3 games? And then he was relegated again back to the bench. And then this season, I seem to be the only person on the surface of this earth that doesn't think Sancho has actually done anything as bad as they claim that he has. Ten Hag came out, made a statement about players not giving their all during training. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like it was directed towards someone. Sancho probably felt guilty and came out and made a blank statement, not directing his own statement towards any particular person. He didn't call the coach out. He didn't call the staff out. He didn't call anyone out. He just said something so that in case if there was anyone out there thinking it was about him, he's trying to clear the air. And all of a sudden, Sancho is being banished. He's one of the highest earners in Manchester United. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's a local boy. There's quite a few England internationals on the team. These guys all talk. The coach can only have so much influence out on their own personal time. These guys are all friends. So I can imagine that the treatment of Sancho is ideal to these players because they're thinking to themselves, if he's gonna treat him this way, what's gonna stop him from treating me this way? So I do not think it's affecting anything because guess what? Sancho didn't play the Arsenal game and we lost. Sancho did not play the Brighton game and we lost. Sancho did not play the Bayern game and we lost. So who is he going to pick now?
Yeah. What I mean is, do you think that the players somehow emotionally are, not giving their all because they are, showing their allegiance to Sancho? Kind of, they don't feel good the way the guy has been treated by the coach. Maybe, like you said, they might be thinking, if he treats this guy this way, maybe who's going to be next?
It's a very big possibility. Beginning of the season, Ten Hag made something I would consider a rookie mistake. He openly stripped Maguire of the captaincy. Right, Maguire has been a stalwart in the English national team. Of course, Maguire is Maguire, but he's been a regular in the English national team. And for you to not sell this guy, keep him on the bench, and then openly strip him of the captaincy and give it to Bruno. Bruno was already the vice captain. He was already the de facto captain because he plays more than Maguire. So there was no need for Ten Hag to make this boss move by coming out and saying that he's taking this captaincy from Maguire and giving to Bruno. So if you were to ask me to pinpoint a reason why Man U is playing this way, I can't say that it's because of the treatment of Sancho. No. Okay. So to answer your question, and the shortest way I could possibly can is to say no. The treatment of Sancho has not affected the camp. It's just the coach is not giving us what he promised.
Chioma, as a rival fan looking in from outside on United, what do you have to say about what's going on? The form on the pitch, all this bad news coming out. Anthony, Sancho, Greenwood, they just managed to settle Greenwood, and right now he's in Spain. What have you made about United? This season so far, they've been struggling on the pitch. Outside the pitch, there's so much negativity surrounding the club and the team. Have you ever reflected upon it, and what do you think? What have you come up with? In your mind.
See, whenever I look at Man U, I see qualities. There's a whole lot of, so even when I look at them and at the end of the day, they lose the game, I'm always surprised, because I feel like they have individual qualities that can make a whole lot of difference.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that I don't know if Man U fans, because when I look from behind, I will laugh, because I'm a straight shooter. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I know, some people would think I'm not there. I don't know why. Is it that they can't caution a lot of matches, a lot of games that they would have won, but Rashford will not make them win the game? I just look at it, I will laugh, like even sometimes when I see him, I will tell myself, okay, shoot, and he will just shoot. Even when there are other people in
good
position to score. Like even this last game, there was a ball that he would have passed to. Is that
Holland.
No, not Holland. This guy from Real Madrid that was open.
Casemiro. Okay, Casemiro.
Yeah. Even he had to people laughed and he showed a little anger that ball wasn't passed to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I'm the coach, like Sheba said, oftentimes when you make decisions, it's not always good to speak about, to show your bossy tendencies, but you can bench him and let him watch the game from the bench a little to see, because I strongly believe that when people watch from the bench, they can, in a very friendly, situation, they will see some of the mistakes that they do when they are there. Man U, and I see people talking about it. Johnny Evans is a very good player that have been underrated. If you watch, he is more or less like the last stars of Ferguson. Those boys that worked under Ferguson, you notice that even if you are not the top notch, you are given 110, 120. See that pass. He is not a natural left footer, but see that pass. That pass was pinpoint left foot, pass that it destroyed every person and made this guy in the right position. So I don't. Yeah.
So are you saying that Evans should be starting, or
no? What I'm saying is that he should because with what you guys have, I will introduce him. He did very good. I will introduce him to build confidence, because what Man U needs, as far as I'm concerned, is to win few games and the confidence will come back. It's not like if you look at the qualities they have, who do you think? You're not going to compare Man U with Chelsea. I don't want to talk about Chelsea, but you see in all departments they have qualities. So what they actually lack from my point is confidence. If they win a couple of goals, you will see that those confidence will come back. And that is what I think.
Yeah, Chioma, sometimes I always use this phrase that this player and girl, he played for Aston Villa so many years ago. There was one interview he granted, and he said the truth about football is that there's no truth in football. Because once you win a game, they say you're the best. Tomorrow you lose, they tell you you're the worst. So it's always, you're never good, you're never bad. And why I'm saying this is, do you think, Chioma, do you think that the result United got over the weekend is paper over cracks, or are they going to kick on from there? Have the bad results they've been getting, not reflective of what they've been doing, or do you think the win over the weekend is not really going to change anything for United going forward?
Okay. First of all, I want to say that United, they're my side chicks, but at the moment I don't know what's happening to them. So their win, they definitely did something different from where I'm starting from. Okay, they did something different, and if Casemiro got goals, it meant that somebody played fetch. Okay, he played fetch while somebody did the work for him. So are we calling Evans? Evans is not such a bad player. Temperamental, red card whisperer when he was in his yay days. Okay, but he's not such a bad player. But is Evans bankable? No, he's not bankable. Mileage is dropping. Do you understand? So if you think Evans should start games, I'm not a party to that. But are there some sort of games that Evans can come in and, play fetch, hold the ball with experience, and things will happen? So the thing about Man United is a cocoon of too much. Okay, there's this admin problem. I've said it before. Football is 70% here, and the other 30% is how toned your muscles and how you've worked up your stamina and all of that. So there's a lot happening. There's too many distractions. They want the Glazers out. The midfield is not holding. They've gone and they've bought a lot of people. Now they have like a scarcity of wingers, and they're playing Rashford from the left. He hates coming from the left, wherever that is, and he's very stubborn. When it's time for him to pass, he becomes Anthony all of a sudden, holds on to the ball too much and forgets to pass. Okay, so something is happening to United. So them getting whatever they got this week did not mean that they are up. There's still a lot of work to be done. And I heard when we're talking about Sancho is not the issue. There are too many problems with the club. And if they fix it, their confidence level might just go up. Just like Chioma was talking about confidence, that they did fetch. If you score, I score. That's not how it happens. Do you understand? So they still have a lot of work to do.
Can I address the backroom stuff that Chioma was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems as though everyone wants to use that as a crutch, and everyone wants to talk about the Glazers and mismanaging the club. Glazers didn't start mismanaging this club today.
Yeah,
they started from day one, right?
Yeah.
So I honestly don't think that's an excuse, right? Because this same Glazers gave Ten Hag almost $500 million in 2 years to go buy players. Now, if that's not support, I really don't know what else support is. Yeah, they're not walking out of the club, and that's costing the club some financial issues in the sense that players that they would have much rather bought, they're having to loan them and yada, yada, yada. But you still signed off on Anthony being bought for 100 million.
mm-hmm.
That's on Ten Hag. That's not on the Glazers, right? You signed off on Mason Mount being bought for 60 something million. After the first bid was rejected, this is a player that has 1 year left on his contract. That's not on the club. That's on you, coach. You signed off on letting go of our last title winning player in De Gea and going to get a defender that plays the ball with his feet. That's not on the club. That's on you, Ten Hag. So I understand where Chioma is coming from, but I just feel that we should, out of all the excuses that Ten Hag is allowed to have, the backroom issue should not be one of them.
I need to come again there. It's more than bringing out the money and buying players and all of that. Let's go back to last season when this guy got here. You guys are already a mess. You're already a huge mess. I'm so sorry. Pardon my French. They're already a huge mess before he got here. And so it was like he just came and just started doing some facial reconstruction, put this here. And I was like, you guys, your head was coming up above water. Okay? Yeah, fine. I'm not going to cut him like slacks. He's the coach. He needs to know what to do. But are these guys, they are messing up the water. The water is all murdered up. That's the truth. There's a reason why, people are moving administration, Chelsea aside. Their own was, a different kind of story. But people are moving administration. People are saying, you know what, this has to go. It happened in Arsenal, okay? It happened to us. We had Arsene for a while. He did great, very beautiful man. I love him. Okay, he's a bedrock. But it got to the point that what he was selling was no longer sellable. It wasn't buyable anymore. We weren't buying it. The fans were not buying it. Nobody was buying it. So we had to do like a total reconstruction. That's what I'm saying. If you know, I mean, look at Everton. They are done with whomever they used to. So now they want to run with them.
And they've been spending money. They spent money too. I understand what Chioma is saying. But Ugun, welcome to the show. Let me bring you in on this one before we move on. I know you've been listening to what we are saying. Yes, United has a lot of issues and it's been brewing for a long time. Every now and then they manage to model it up and keep moving. Ole had his own issues, but it got to a point they couldn't bear it anymore. They let him go. Ten Hag came in last season, did what he did. It looked like light has come. Again, we are this same bus stop that United always find themselves at. And most of the time it leads to sacking the coach and starting all over again. There'll be a new coach bounce and we go the same cycle. So let me ask you, there's tactics, there's technical issues, and there's management. I know most times when a place is rotten, then there's a foul culture. You have to address the culture and attitude of people around to get things going again. Do you think in that front, Erik ten Hag, is there in any way he has got it wrong in trying to change the culture mentality at Old Trafford that has made United to even go, regress in their form as against what they did last season?
Yeah, there's a really bad culture. I'd like Justice to speak to this at a point. United is the only club in the UK. We know the British press. They are well known for meddling. They are well known for spreading rumors. They are well known for all kinds of all the negativities of journalism. But United is still the only club in recent times that you hear every coach that comes in, you hear rumors of players being unhappy. You hear rumors of players not being satisfied with the coach. You hear all these things on British papers. It's like a cycle. I mean, all the guys that follow United, that talk about United on YouTube, they're saying the same thing. If you follow them, it happens. Once you start hearing that players are unhappy, just get ready for the coach to be fired in the next few months. It's a clear sign that the coach is about to be fired, right? Who is releasing these rumors? This is where I hold the owners responsible. I wouldn't hold Ten Hag responsible because
he's been there before he got there.
He's been there before he's been there before he got there. And the owners should fish out who in that organization that goes and tells the press what's happening in the dressing room, goes and tells the press what's happening in the business room and in the boardroom, right? The press always know what's going on inside United. Why is that so? You don't get that with Liverpool. You don't get that with Chelsea. You don't get that with Arsenal. You see, you may get rumblings here and there, but once you hear that, serious-minded organizations with serious leaders will say, please, we don't want what's going on inside our club being in the press all the time. Look at this year alone. Has there been any week or a couple of weeks that there hasn't been one bad rumor about United? Who is doing this thing? Why is it not stopping?
So when it comes to the bad rumors, of course, we've got the Anthony case. That one was bound to come out because that's a rape allegation. Stuff. Yeah, that's a civil and criminal stuff, like you said. But if you also notice, it wasn't until Ten Hag came out and talked about the players after the Arsenal loss. That's when all this rumors started coming out. So prior to that, there wasn't any rumblings of any kind last season outside of Ronaldo, which Ronaldo did a sit-down interview with Piers Morgan after he had decided to go. Even the Sancho situation, no one really knew what was going on. We just knew that Sancho had gone out to do some sort of special training courtesy of Ten Hag. The Maguire situation, Ten Hag, right from game 2, nipped Maguire in the bud and started playing Martinez and Varane. So there wasn't really any rumblings last season. It's this season. And naturally, when things start to go bad, people tend to resort to the most familiar There you go. And the most familiar thing for them to say is the kerfuffle in the dressing room. You know, that's a very easy backup. It's something that you can just, it's very broad, right? It's not specific. So you say, oh, there's a divide in the dressing room, and you leave it like that, and it just catches wildfire. And then, of course, when you see the results that United is putting together, the result against Wolves, the result against Nottingham Forest, against Tottenham, and so on and so forth, you see that this year United has played 7 games and not one convincing game. Not even the game that they won against Nottingham that they came from behind was convincing. The game against Wolves was definitely not convincing. I still today feel that Wolves got hosed in that game. They should have gotten their fair due, which is a penalty and possibly a red card for Nana. You know, so the idea of someone leaking stuff to the press, it's usually when things start to go sour. That's when there's all this noise. I don't particularly believe that there's a mole in the dressing room. I just think it's because the guys are not performing well. And United is such a big club that you expect them to go out there and win week in, week out. You know, it's like Man City. I guarantee you, if something like this were to start happening to Man City, there'd be all these rumblings. Pep has already started coming out and criticizing his players. So it's only a matter of time if they start putting together a string of bad results that people will now come out and say, oh, this player is unhappy, this player wants to leave, and yada, yada, yada. And it starts to sound kind of messy, but I don't think there's a mole in the dressing room.
Yeah, I hear you, but though for me, before we round up, all I have to say is, to be honest, listening to Ten Hag most times after games, I've not been impressed the way he addresses issues, both with the referees, both with the players. He kind of blames every other person in this world minus himself. He never talks about tactics. He's only talking about, if it's not the referees, moaning about the referees, moaning about things that went wrong. I remember you were talking about the game against Wolves. In that game, when they asked him about that incident, I also remember the response that he gave. So if he could be doing that in the press conference, only God knows how he addresses the players in the dressing room. I think his communication skills need some improvement. He might not be that bad internally, but the way he communicates and addresses issues tends to make it look like the whole world is against him. I think he needs to look himself in the mirror, take a seat back and try to adjust some of the probably methodologies he's using in handling the team. And look, try to get results for the team and forget about all this. They say these things, balances out. On that game against Wolves, it would have been a very bad start for United in the season, a bad spot for him in the season. And somehow the referee decided to give them those 3 points. And if you go the next game and the ball is not out and they say he's out, just take it and move on. He's the only coach that I see these days moan so much about the referees, and he talked about everything minus the way his team performed in games. So I think that's an area he needs some improvement. And we can talk United from now till tomorrow. There's still going to be issues to be addressed. It's really sad that the giant of English football is really going through this patch, and one tend not to be able to see an end in sight to this one. And we only hope that the coming games, we don't have time now to look into those games. You guys are going to play Crystal Palace. I think it's tomorrow. It's going to be another cracker for United, and I hope. I don't even know if I should wish them to lose the game so that they can have time to focus on the. Because it looks like everything is too much for United to handle right now. So the lesser games they have to play probably might do them good, But we see how this happens. We know that they are defending champions in that competition, so maybe that will give them some confidence to go past Crystal Palace. So we move to Chelsea. Another, I don't know. I don't even know how to start this one. It's really a mess at the bridge right now, and Chelsea again lost. There's somebody that was throwing a banter in our group today and said that if Chelsea don't score tomorrow, they might have to choose their goal of the month from their training video.
And that's if they score in
Chioma,
training.
I couldn't have time to confirm that. I don't know if you can confirm that to us. As Chelsea has not scored this month, if you guys don't score tomorrow, you probably will not have the goal of the month for September 2023, and that's going to be a history in history. So make a call to Pochettino and figure that out. So we go to Chelsea losing 1-0 at home to Aston Villa. This game, again, there are so many hands being pointed to Pochettino with regards to his selection and the way the team played. Yeah, Chelsea they had chance to get 1 or 2 goals, which happens in games, but to lose at home to Aston Villa on run of form, yes, one might not be surprised, but again, Chelsea is in a bad place right now, and all they just have to get 3 points either way. But this seems to elude them. The results seem to elude them. Performances are not good enough. There's a lot of bickering with the way the coach is handling the team and doing his selections. Of course, injuries are not good on their side right now. It's just so much to talk about Chelsea. Chioma, what's your overall thought about that game in particular? Is there anything, are you among the fans that are calling for Poch's head, the way he's making a selection? For instance, playing Colwill as a left back instead of Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell was one of the best players in Chelsea 2 seasons ago, even last season, that used to bring goals for Chelsea. He was operating from the left side while James operated from the right, and they were combining together to bring a lot of goals to Chelsea. But somehow Pochettino had decided to be playing Colwill instead of Ben Chilwell. Many are saying that if you are both 23 years right now, it's difficult for you to get a starting shirt at Chelsea minus Thiago Silva and Sterling. So what do you have to say about that game? Do you have any thoughts about the game?
Well, it's so bad that you don't even know what to criticize. My overall submission is that Poch is losing his credibility. I feel like not only Chelsea fans, but a whole lot of soccer fans see him as a very powerful and tactical coach. Somebody who can groom from nothing. But when you see what is happening in Chelsea, even myself, that you cannot keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again and not getting results, and you still continue doing those. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When I just look at Chelsea team, I can't pinpoint one person, just one player that I am, maybe Sterling, maybe Sterling. But outside of Sterling, I can't really close my eyes and think of even the so-called Enzo, the Enzo guy. So when I just look at it, it's just painful to discuss because, oh gosh, you can't, we spend a lot of money without buying nothing. It's like you went to market with a huge bag of money, and you're coming home with with a xylophone, full
an
of
envelope,
oranges and mangoes. You know what I'm saying? Can you even look at Chelsea's team? That is why I don't know if Poch is instrumental to buying of any of these players.
Yeah, Tim, I remember when the season started, I said something, and like you said, Poch came into Chelsea with some so huge and massive reputation. Everybody thought that Chelsea was going to be, I was thinking before it's going to take them years to come back, but with Poch being announced, I said, wait a minute, it looks like Chelsea are going to be back quicker than I expected. But I've always said that immediately he came in and started signing more players.
Are you sure he's the one? Are you sure he's the one that signed those players? Because I'm beginning to ask if.
No. If you remember, if he's not the one, then something is wrong somewhere. Because before Poch took up, signed off for this deal, it took a long time after Chelsea contacted him, and the talk was that he was ironing out how things were. And one of the things that came out was that he insisted that he was going to be instrumental to players coming in and players leaving. So I believe once that was agreed, he has been part of the signings. So for him to come in, and sign 6, 7 new players, that was where I felt that there's going to be a problem. Look at this guy in sports. I know we'll talk about Arsenal and Tottenham later in this show. Poch came to Spurs. I think he only got 2 or 3 new players. I know Spurs are going to need players, but he didn't go signing all the players that he needed. He needed to start work with what he had on ground, try to improve those players, and then start to add.
Raised.
Yes.
I said this thing last time we talked about Chelsea. I do not agree that Pochettino is behind all these signings. Exactly. I said it when the signings were happening. If you remember, if we go back to previous shows, you will see where I said the same thing. Pochettino, I know, is a more sensible manager than to come in and go on spending spree like that and just buy players. This was Todd Bowley doing what he's been doing since he joined Chelsea, just buying arbitrarily without consulting. You know, he may have been consulted. Remember, he's looking for a job. You say, hey, we want to buy this player. They have the what's it called, the pen that will sign the checks for the coach. The coach can say, hey, it's okay, can buy. I will use the tools to provide for me, but not necessarily that he was behind all their signings, right? The way Chelsea were buying players, I never thought for once that Pochettino was behind all that. I just wanted
let's say something. Okay, let's even agree that he wasn't part of it. But does it mean that Pochettino never requested for a striker? Because I was going to come to this. Chelsea did all these signings. They didn't address the striking position. And a 39-year-old Thiago Silva, I don't care how good he has been all his career. At 39 years in the EPL, there's only little you can do for your team. When I watch Chelsea play and I see Thiago Silva with the ball, it looks like the tempo of the game dies. He doesn't lose the ball, but the tempo of the game dies. It takes his time because he's no longer that man. And he's not getting rest in between games. If you play him this week, rest him next week, by 2 weeks' time, probably you'll be a little bit refreshed to go again. But playing him 90 minutes, week in, week out, it shows you the weakness in the team. And this one, just like what Shaba was saying about United, this one is on the coach. Because Pochettino that we know should do better, even with the players that he has. Now look at this guy, Gallagher. When he went on loan to... when Gallagher went on loan to, I think it was Crystal Palace or Everton.
Crystal Palace.
Exactly. Chelsea almost couldn't get him back because he did so well in that team that, a lot of people, that was even when he got into the national team. Right now, he's not doing enough to be called up by Southgate. I don't even know why he gets those called up. So there's something about Chelsea that has to do with Pochettino. I don't care, I don't want to believe that it's the signings, but I mean, he needs to, look at the game. People are calling for his head because Modric, you can say he's not been good at Chelsea. But in that game, he wasn't doing badly, but he was subbed out. He's not going to be on what's his name again? Toboli. Chioma, you're trying to say something. Let's hear you out.
Yeah, I've been trying to say something. Like, it's wrong.
And before you go on, sorry, Chioma, let's welcome Funsho to the show. Sorry, I know you've been.
Funsho, welcome, man.
You forget he's been heated since he joined.
Welcome, Funsho.
Funsho is an Arsenal fan. I met him the highest where we watch games. He's doing bits. He has, you can see his chest there. Football News is a platform he has online. I'm going to put for our view, I'm going to put the link on our description to go check out what he's doing. He has a lot of followers, especially Nigerian viewers on his platform. He does stuff with goal and bet Nigeria and stuff like that. So he's joining us today to talk about these games. Funsho, you're welcome to the show, and let our viewers hear from you before Chioma goes on with her point.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for having me here. Like you said, my name is Funsho. I'm based in Houston, Texas, and Football News. And it's a platform going on for about 3-4 years now. Very big, black-owned website and Instagram account. And to not take too much of your time, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share my thoughts and a few things we gathered together because we write about sports all the time. We write every day. So we have I have some data to share, but I'll let our wonderful lady continue, and I'll come in when I can.
Okay, Chioma, go on with your point. Sorry to cut you short.
Okay, so there's something I need to say. everybody wants to blame Pochettino, okay? If you go to this guy's book, we will never ever deny what he did and what he was able to do with Tottenham. When we start thinking about players like Højbjerg and Richarlison and the likes of them, Kane, Song, all that, all those guys in there, he read them. He's a Herrera. He is not Mourinho, so he is not Chelsea's problem. Chelsea's problem started from way back. You don't go out buying players because you have money. I think Man U learned the hard way. You don't just go about throwing money at your problems. You already had a problem. What are you buying too many players that play the same wing for? Or else you want to start an academy. And you're not even a very good academy, by the way. So all of a sudden, you're bringing the likes of Potter. Potter is not somebody. Potter is he holds the fort. He doesn't raise. He doesn't grow. You went and you brought Lampard 2 times, second coming. He came, it didn't happen. Poch is not the problem. The problem is Chelsea. The problem is the new management. You buy everybody you want. You went and spent that kind of money on Enzo. Give it to McAllister. That club would have moved. We're talking about Silva and all of that. As far as I'm concerned, that guy is the only sane person in that club for now. The other sane person, Aspilicueta, is gone. They took him out. Okay? So their problem is not even Pochettino. They should just know that nobody in his right sense is going to take Pochettino out of that job for the next 2 seasons. That guy is there to wear. So if you like, you can keep buying the likes of whatever they want to buy. They can buy whomever they see. If they see Travis Scott, they can buy him on the street. Anybody. But the truth is, Pochettino is the guy they need for whatever they are going through. Pochettino worked for Tottenham, so why can't? What are we even saying now?
Okay, Chioma, I hear you there. Funsho, let me bring you into this conversation. I know you've been listening to us a little bit now. The transfer window is short since September 1st. Chelsea has played about 3 or 4 games since then. Todd Bowley's business is ended. As far as buying and selling of players is concerned, it's now on the coach to deal with what he has. I believe that Chelsea has enough quality. I know most of those players are not experienced, which is another mistake that they made in signing of players. They're trying to go young, yes, but at some point they need some experience to go with this player to help them, stay in games and win games. So don't you think that Pochettino, if he's still what we thought or what we think he is or what he used to be, because you can talk about what he did in Tottenham forever. I mean, Mourinho one time was the best coach in the world. He came because of what he did in Porto and Inter Milan and maybe Real Madrid, and say this season he should go and coach Barcelona. No, because time flies. Maybe Pochettino has lost. Do you think that there is some blame to be laid on his table, based on the result and the way Chelsea has been playing, since this season?
Yes, I think Chelsea is not a small club, right? And it's very shocking to see what's happening to the club. It's a very big club, like I said, and I think if you have a lot of players, you have a lot of selection, I think it's a good problem, right? It's a good problem. Some clubs don't have who to select you now. Here you are, you have 3-4 players per position. And I think your only problem is how many goals can we score? How many possessions can we keep to build chemistry? I think Pochettino came in, you look at Chelsea, like someone mentioned, the problem started long ago. I think he is who we think he is, right? How long is it going to take to happen? I don't know. For example, Arsenal, we know what happened to Mikel when he came in. Arsenal was playing relegation, just like Chelsea are. Is there light ahead of the tunnel? I think so, right? I think there is, but I'm shocked with the record. Like, they haven't scored. It's like they don't know how to score. They don't know how to play football. They don't know how to do anything anymore. So, like, your question is it the same manager? I think it's the guy that will turn things around. Are people going to have patience with this guy? Then yes or no, because Chelsea is not a club where you can try this nonsense. Chelsea's used to going to Champions League. They're used to winning. They have produced one of the biggest stars, Drogba, all these guys. Chelsea is a very storied club that dominates. What's top 2 clubs there? If it's not Liverpool getting close to Man City, it's Chelsea. So what's happening right now, I've never seen it, I can't imagine this ever happening to Chelsea. I'm going to read out some of the records that they've broken this year, right? They're not a good one, but I'll read them out. 1 league wins this season. 1. Only 2 wins since Potter was fired. Right? Let's continue. 0 goals in the last 3 games. I don't know what's going on. Even the newly promoted team, they can score. The Fulham, they failed to score in 13 league games since 2023. Not only that, they have indiscipline problem. Nico Jackson is banned for 5 yellow cards in 5 games. You also have Malo Gusto, 3 games banned. What's going on here? I don't know. I think it's a mental thing for the club.
It's the head. It's the head.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I think I hear you, but let me go back to Chima, who's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can say that. And I heard you mention Mikel when he came to Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta came to Arsenal. Arsenal was in a worse situation than what Chelsea is right now. One thing we found out that there was a way Arsenal was playing. That's not how we are playing right now. But Mikel Arteta looked at the players he met in Arsenal and fashioned out a style of play that you could see when they are playing. They were not winning all the games, but Arsenal was set up to use Aubameyang's pace from the wings. People will say, why are you playing him on the wings? But he was effective. That was how he won the FA Cup. He beat and on that run, he beat Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City to win that trophy. But with Chelsea, you can't really say this is what Poch is trying to do. It's okay to talk about Todd Bowley, but when you come on the pitch, even like Burnley, that played United, they lost the game, but you can see this is what's his name? Company is trying to do with the team. I blame him for doing that because I believe they don't have the quality to do that in EPL, but he's sticking to that philosophy. But with Chelsea, you can't really see anything that you say this is how Chelsea plays. Then let's now talk about whether it's working or it's not working. Tim, I don't know if I'm correct, so let's hear from you.
You are 100%. You see, you are 100%. Not only that, you cannot see. I remember I mentioned that if you're doing something that is not working, what the tendencies is for you to change. Make a change. This, I'm happy with the red card that this goes to God because maybe him leaving will make a Poch to introduce somebody, to try somebody else. That guy, sometimes when he traps the ball, he can't cross. He is not a Chelsea player. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
What is wow? Take it. Buy him the way. You guys need to take him the way you guys took him.
But that wasn't a red card, though.
Yeah, it wasn't a red card. It wasn't a red card, but I am happy that because sometimes what you need to do is to let people sit at the bench, try something else. Honestly, it wasn't a red card, but you know what? I kind of felt like something got to give.
So are you saying that you're praying for the team to keep losing so that Poch can get fired?
No, I said that.
No, what you say that the selection Poch has
yes, when
maybe this red card will help him to change.
With this. Yeah, what I'm saying is he always starts with these players. It's like if I close my eyes now, I will name the 11 players that will not do nothing. Nobody, And another thing I've noticed. Have you noticed? No Chelsea player has. None of them has. They've got no ability to shoot. You will see nobody can shoot. Yeah, just tell me any of the Chelsea forward strikers, midfielders that can shoot from midfield and shoot a quality shot. Even Caicedo, the other ball that he tried to shoot, it was like a back pass. When you see other players, when they hit this ball, you see hitting. See, Jackson cannot shoot. Sterling is good, he cannot shoot.
Drogba cannot shoot. Chima, after you said his Drogba,
I'm not saying that he's a bad player. You see,
no, Jackson is actually a quality player.
No, I don't want to say that. Have you watched Chelsea play? Have you watched that guy play?
I've watched him play.
What you can say is that one thing I know about Jackson.
What pisses me off is these people who are not Chelsea fans. They are happy when things are not going. They will tell you, yes, it's good, it's good, it's good. So that when they go home, they laugh at you. I am telling you that you see when I was telling people that I was the happiest when Arsenal bought Kai, when they bought Jorginho, when Man U bought Mason, I was the happiest because I have lived with them.
Yeah, but Chelsea was doing better when those players were in Chelsea.
Oh, players. Why are they not doing better? Why are they not doing better in the new teams that they are playing for now?
No,
Why are they not doing better?
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in terms of coaches, I don't think we can blame Pochettino at this point. Let me give you the list of coaches that Chelsea have used in the past couple of years, right? Pochettino is right here, right now. Frank Lampard, that one doesn't count. We know he's not good. Bruno Saltor, right? Graham Potter, we know what Graham Potter did at Brighton.
Of course.
We cannot say that guy is a useless coach, right? Before that, you had Thomas Tuchel, right? Then you have Frank Lampard again. Mm-hmm. Then you have Sarri. Then you have Antonio Conte.
Yeah, but this coach Conte was successful with Chelsea. Sarri was successful. Ancelotti came in briefly twice, and he did stuff with them. Yeah. I don't think it's the institution. I think it's the coach. It's the coach. The only one that doesn't do well doesn't do well. But they always give you the tools to work. There's something wrong with Chelsea.
How come Potter did something beautiful with Brighton? No name players.
Chelsea is bigger than Potter. There are some, you see some players.
Sometimes things don't just work out. It doesn't just work out. Potter didn't just work out in Chelsea. Do I see him as a bad coach? No. Even Pochettino we're talking about now, I don't really think he's finished. I don't think he's a back, but there's something that he's not doing right now.
Yes.
And sometimes it can happen.
Yes. Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chelsea's major problem is in the boardroom. You see, look at all the successful clubs that have sustained success, even now in the EPL. Every one of them has a strong director of football.
Yeah.
They have a strong structure. They have a director of football that works with the coach to recruit players. Chelsea, since Todd Bowley came in, who is
we are losing you. You're breaking up.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's me.
Yeah, it's same here.
We are losing his driving.
I think his line of thought. Maybe before you get back, I think his line of thought is something that I strongly believe.
Okay.
I believe that the director of procurement is a problem. But I also think that the coach, when you play 2-3 games with the same set of players, there is no improvement. Nobody can, confidently shoot the ball from the center, from 18-yard box. The tendency is for you to introduce new personnel, for you to try something else. Reggie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Chioma, you see, what my point is, the transfer window is short.
I don't even talk there because I know that you're happy that we are losing. So.
the transfer window is short. That's my point. All this talk about signing, not signing, Todd Bowley, this, that, all that for now is gone to January.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're stuck with these players that you have. It's now left for you to figure out a way to win games, to score goals.
What are you doing with them?
Now,
what are you doing with the players you have?
Chelsea, sometimes a coach can set up his team to score a lot of goals, and they're leaking goals behind. Sometimes they score 3 and concede 2, they win 3-2. Sometimes some coaches come with negative philosophy. They don't want to concede. They might manage to score 1 goal and win a game, or they draw 1-1 and stuff. Right now, Chelsea is leaking goals and are not scoring goals. So that's what I'm saying. The transfer window is short. That talk of signing or not signing players has gone. Whether you have a football director or not, that one is not an issue right now, because you are stuck with these players. Figure out a way to use them to get results. Back to when you mentioned Arsenal with Arteta, when Arteta came into Arsenal. Arsenal was playing with defenders like Squadron Mustafi, Socrates, Cedric Suarez. And Arsenal was facing a minimum of 19 shots on our goal every game before Arteta came. The first thing he did was to show up that defense with the same players. We started conceding less shots on our goal. And Arsenal was winning games using counter, using Aubameyang's pace and stuff like that. And as time went on, he started, selling some of these players and changed the team. So my point is, as a coach, what is Pochettino doing with these players that he has?
Simple.
Whether he
What
likes them or not, whether
what
he wants them or not, whether they are good or not, what is he trying to do with them? At least keep the team afloat. Yeah, Shaba, let's hear your thoughts.
Can I speak on that?
Mm-hmm.
During preseasons, Chelsea was scoring for fun. I mean, there were games where they had 5 goals.
Those are preseason.
No.
I agree. I agree. That's
preseason. We weren't scoring all that goals. What we're doing is, we were winning games. We were playing well, but maybe winning games with 2-1 or sometimes 2-2. But we were playing. You will see transitions. You will see good play, but we weren't scoring goals like Arsenal was.
If I'm not mistaken, Chelsea won the Summer League series. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
but when you say we're scoring goals.
Yeah, but this season, Chelsea hasn't been blown out in any game, though. It was the largest margin that Chelsea has lost. So I don't think this, notion of it's the coach. I honestly do not buy it. Pochettino is not performing right now. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have a game plan. Nkuku, who was meant to be your top 9, has been injured, right? And exactly. So you have to give him an opportunity to have the right personnel. He's playing Gusto because Rhys James is injured.
James,
right? So there you go. So you saying that Pochettino is the wrong guy because for whatever reason.
Shaba, you're not saying he's the wrong guy. Shaba, let me ask you a question, Shaba, you and Chioma.
Go ahead.
The quality that Chelsea has, even with the injuries, are they worse than Burnley?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. But when you watch Burnley play, you see.
Why are you calling Burnley out? Why are you calling Burnley?
No, I'm just asking, for instance. I'm talking about quality. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying Pochettino is bad. I'm not saying he should be fired. But he needs to figure it out. At some point, this bully talk is going to get expired, and people are going to start looking at him. Like Chioma said, there are so many things that he has been doing that people are beginning to call him out on. Modric has not been a hit in Chelsea, we know. But this game last weekend, the guy was one of the shining lights in the team. He got subbed
Let me
5 minutes.
Why he was a shining light?
Ben Chilwell, one of the issues that Chelsea has is that most of the players are young and inexperienced. Ben Chilwell is one of the most experienced players in that squad. He doesn't get to start games. And once he came into that game, he got to the end of stuff, right? Immediately he came in.
Yes.
He doesn't get minutes on the team. Thiago Silva, I know you say the other players, but at his age, he shouldn't be the spine of Chelsea team right now. He should be a player that will encourage and talk to the players in the dressing room and come in a game, maybe every other game. But he plays 90 minutes week in, week out. Like I said earlier on, whenever the ball gets to his feet, everything slows down. So there are so many decisions that Pochettino has been making that are questionable. And I feel, my point is that I'm not blaming him 100% for what is going on with Chelsea right now, but as a coach, I think he needs to do better. That's my point. And I don't know if you guys agree with me.
I have a question for Chioma. Chioma, please, I've been asking every Chelsea fan this question. Ben Chilwell, where does he play from? Is it on the left side of the wing or the right side of the wing?
He plays from the left side of the wing.
He's a fullback.
When he's playing for England, where does he play from?
It's the same way.
Say it again. I think
he's a left back.
He's a left.
If he's playing in England, where did he play from?
Of course, he plays from the left side of the wing.
Left side.
Left side every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the problem?
He plays as a left back. He plays as a left back. But
no. If you see Chima today, I'm trying to entertain Chima because Chima thinks I don't like Chelsea.
It's not about what you like. It's not you are not invested in Chelsea. See how you are happy.
No,
Chelsea. I'm the one that is
For sure, welcome to the show. This is Chioma and Chima.
When Chelsea lost last Saturday, were you angry?
I was very angry. I was
please.
I was pissed.
I can see you saying, look at them, let it be, Good for them.
Chioma, you said that Chioma did not go to bed last night because waiting to come on this show and
you see what time see what time she woke up. All her business to come and stick it on us, you know.
I have coffee.
That is exactly. She bought coffee to drink just to see. No, the truth is that you know what I'm saying is, Reg, I'm happy that you know for sure too. You know, I want you guys to understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now this is what we have. Make the best use of what you have till January. When you watch Chelsea's team, you know when you see the lineup, sort of you almost seen the strength of most of the players. Like I was telling you that, you know, I can watch City whenever Modric, City Rodrick, whenever he has the ball around very close to 18 yards, but I will tell people make sure block because he will shoot, and when he shoots, is a very strong hitting. You see what I'm saying? Even if the keeper catches that ball, he will drop it. But we look at Chelsea. You know, you don't. Gallagher is not good in shooting.
Really?
Sterling. I'm not saying they're not good players. They're not good players. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Sterling cannot shoot. If you give him the opportunity to shoot, he cannot really shoot. I hope you understand what I mean by shooting. I'm not saying they are not good players, but a player who hit the ball so hard. Even Caicedo, that I thought, okay, maybe he will have something to, you know, to talk about. I saw what his shot like yesterday. I just shook my head. I shook my head. I said, like, okay, wow, this sickness is oh, is in the whole team, you know. So
I like to say something though.
Yeah, as a coach, Reggie, what I expected from him is, you know, when things are not working, try to adjust, you know. Change pattern, you know, change tactics. Let's introduce something to see.
Yeah. Like I know that him Sterling sometimes can play as a false nine. He did it in City. Yeah, sometimes, but you know, like that's my point. You know, you can sometimes Jackson is not firing. Sometimes you take a player out of limelight because the guy is not scoring goals. He had a chance this weekend,
yes,
just to put it to the keeper.
That ball he could have trapped. He could have trapped that ball.
He had all the time in the world. So sometimes you can play Sterling as a false nine, then use Gallagher on the wings, and you know just do something different within the game or at the start of the game. But you know, just sits down there, does the same thing week in, week out. Come out with the same result, and everybody is talking about Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly's business stopped on the 1st of September. From that time till now is 3 weeks. Jesse has played loads of games. I don't think he has anything to do with him anymore. You know, Future, say what you want to say before we can round up and move on to the next.
Just quickly, the first few games that Chelsea played, a very beautiful game. When I watched them, you know, I was like, wow, this team's going to be scary. At that game, Jackson looked scary in that game. I remember that was the first game. Beautiful game. Beautiful game.
That was the first game.
Yes. And that game, a few players were injured, right? I think that was on that guy that had a knee injury. It was that what's his name? Chukwuemeka. And I felt like that guy was like the gel for that game.
Yes.
So what happened? Is it injury? You know, because you look at how City, if City is not a very good team, losing KDB could have derailed the whole team. Yeah. Now, what happened? Is it Chukwuemeka's injury? Because you look at that game, the Chelsea that we saw that day, it's not the same Chelsea we're seeing going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it Chukwuemeka position that you guys need to fix? But I just know the Chelsea that I saw that day is a different Chelsea that I'm watching. And $1 billion is not a small money to not do well.
Exactly.
So that's just what I want to say.
Yeah, and again, if you remember that game very well as well, Chelsea didn't have a sustained performance. They didn't have it was I think it was the first 15-25 minutes. They were on top of Liverpool. After that, it looked like they evaporated, if you remember very well. So, well, I think we'll leave it at that for now, and we'll see how what goes for it. Chima, just close this segment for us. What's your expectation for Chelsea?
I just pray that let me not use pray. I just hope that Poch will understand.
Praying, Chima, pray.
No, because when pray, prayer will not solve the soccer game. because when you're praying, your opponent is also praying. So will God favor me and not favor, you know? So that is what I so that I wouldn't be selfish saying I'm praying, or that's my opponent. Okay, who will God help? But what I'm saying is, I just hope that Poch will sit down and understand that every day you come up with the same lineup that do nothing. There is need for you to, you know, reshuffle, think outside the box. The fact that he's the coach does not mean that we outside, that we're all coaches. We're all coaches in our own way. I can look at the team and pinpoint one or two things that are not going right with the team. You know, let him, you know, go outside of the box. Look at, you know, his placement. Look at his players. Some of them, put them on the bench. Play some other guys. You know, Jackson has been tried, tested for a while. If I were him, I would bench him and start Borja in the next game. You know, just try something new. Not that you're not going to introduce him. You can introduce him maybe 70th minute in the second half, and he will now look at from the bench. He will see what he's missing. You can't keep on. I mean, I don't need to overemphasize on this. The problem right now is the coach need to do something, and it's not about boardroom or whatever. The coach need to do something, and that is my own.
Yeah, okay, guys, thank you. And we round up on Chelsea. That's how that has gone for today. And we hope that things change for these two giants of English football as quickly as possible so that the competition will continue. Last season, we saw what happened to Liverpool. They seem to have found their mojo back and, you know, cracking up results and doing well in their games. And we hope that the same thing will happen for Chelsea and Man United, so that the league will get as competitive as always has been. Now, the top four, it is so surprising and new to have Chelsea hang around the 14th position for this long. United have managed to probably...
We're on page one.
You know,
we're ninth. So
come to the first top half of the table, which is good to see. So that's that for that. And we'll see our viewers. Don't forget to let us know what you think. We have had some very heated conversations here today, very passionate ones about Chelsea and United, of course. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new or if you have not done so. Most of the time, most of our viewers get carried away enjoying the show and forget to subscribe. Please, we need you. Thank you very much. We have hit the September target of 22,000 subscribers in this month. You guys made it early enough. We are 2,300 right now. So we set the new target for October. Based on the way how good we are doing, we're going to raise the target to 5,000 by the end of October. So guys, get busy. You know, press that notification button. You know, share our content and let other people enjoy the show as you have been enjoying them. And we move on.